Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with an abbreviated episode of my Carolina Hurricanes franchise mode series right here on NHL 19. We have an order of business to get to because technically, as was pointed out in the comments of the last episode, I done goofed, which isn't surprising that it happened. But, you know, I mean, granted, I've done a pretty good job of sticking to the rules. I know that there's a lot of rules, but again, we had to add what we had to add to make this a little bit more difficult, and difficult it's been with us not making the playoffs. However, the goals for last season included a .918 save percentage for Spencer Knight and for this team to make the playoffs. We failed both of them. As a result of failing with Spencer Knight, we had to sign Jimmy Howard to a 2-year extension. As a result of missing the playoffs, we were supposed to bring in a top 6 veteran, which we ultimately did with Brayden Schenn. However, it wasn't done as it was supposed to be done, is the best way to put it. Struggling for words here. We were supposed to give up one of our 2 first-round picks while we brought in Brayden Schenn, which, of course, we did not do. We ended up making selections in the last draft. So the question now is brought up as far as what do I do because I broke the rules? And unfortunately, something does, of course, have to be done. We ended up drafting Steven Nielsen and Dennis Rokon. Unfortunately, I mean, the way I see it, I have 2 options. Either I can drop one of these 2 players for absolutely nothing, or we take a punishment into next season, which would be trading a first and probably more. I think it's pretty much that. We either move one of those 2 players for a 7th-round pick, if not outright nothing, right? Like, we'll move one of those guys with the 7th for a 7th and just say, hey, you fucked up, you lose that player for nothing. Or we lose a first this year, a 2nd as well. Pretty much that's what it is. We either lose one of the players that we drafted, or I have to give up at least 2 draft picks, and whether or not they're 2 firsts or a first and a 2nd, maybe a first, 2nd, and a 3rd, for nothing. That's really the only way I see it to make it fair. I mean, because obviously with these 4 first-round picks, I'm not allowed to make 4 first-round picks, but I am allowed to, trade up or trade down at least once. So these will be very valuable to me. That's a pretty sharp punishment, and rightfully so, as I did not live up to my end of the bargain. But I think that's the better way to do it, rather than saying like, oh, trade somebody, give up McKinnon, Svechnikov, Whitfield, DuPont. I think we keep the roster the way it is, outside of the 2 guys that we acquired directly because of myself breaking the rule. Of course, Tristan Smith we acquired from Nashville. So it's either we give up Nielsen, it's either we give up Nielsen or Rokon, or we give up some draft picks for absolutely nothing to kind of make good for it. I wanted to get your opinion on that as far as what you guys think the punishment should be, but there needs to be a punishment. So it can either be the players that were directly involved that we acquired because I didn't do things the proper way, or it can be picks heading into this upcoming draft, which again would include at least 1 first-round pick. I think I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the comments. Have it be the most thumbs up. For the last episode, of course, still leave your comments there for what the goal for the season should be. And admittedly, I'm intrigued to know, as far as these videos are handled, and I've talked about this a lot too, and I've had to bring it up in the comments a couple of times recently as well, as far as how my videos are done, back in the day, we'll say, I used to edit down franchise modes a little bit more, but I constantly had people saying, oh, well, what did you cut out? Like, as far as like, oh, you were looking for trades. Like, oh, really? There wasn't a better offer that was out there? There wasn't a better player that was out there? Basically, when I edited down the videos, there were always people asking for more information. And now, of course, that I'm in the habit of just being long form, here you go, you can skip through what you want to skip through, I have people mentioning, and again, I don't view it as a negative because you're still watching and you're intrigued in watching, and I appreciate that, but I have people mentioning, man, you need to cut some of the stuff out. So I don't know exactly how to approach that in terms of some people like the long form stuff because they get all the information that they could ever want, and some people hate it because it's too much and they just want kind of the abbreviated deal. Like, I don't know as far as it should just be like, hey, sorry, if you want the videos to be shorter, just skip through what you don't want to watch, or if I should start editing a little bit more, which, I mean, again, you talk about the trades, at the very least. For example, in the last episode of this, once the deal fell apart for Jeff Skinner, I forgot all about Artemi Panarin. And had I not shown you everything, you guys never would have known and called me out for that, rightfully so, because I'm a fucking idiot for forgetting about Artemi Panarin, who probably would have been a much better fit than Braden Shen. No disrespect to Braden Shen, but you get the point, right? So there are positives and negatives to both. Like, I don't know if I should start releasing 2 versions of an episode. The abbreviated version, just here's the quick hits, it's 5 minutes long. Or, you know, just leave it with this and have people skip what they want to skip. But I wanted to get this video out there at the very least. Again, there will be a Finland episode up alongside this. But, yeah. So, let me know what you think the punishments should be. And just your opinion as far as how the videos are handled. Because, obviously, I mean, I do this for you guys. You guys allow me to do this, essentially. Which, again, we're coming up on 4 years this September that I've been making videos. Which blows my goddamn mind. That someone could have started watching my channel when they began high school and are graduating now. Like, that blows my mind that I've been doing it for this long. And it is because of you guys. Because, again, I never expected to be doing this. I'm like, I'll try it out. It'll go nowhere. And I'll just find some other random job. But you've made it worth doing this. So, obviously, there's that part of me that's like, I want people to be happy, even though it's impossible to please everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one, where we will deal with our punishment, and a new season will begin with the Hurricanes. The Nathan MacKinnon era begins, but not on the highest of notes, due to my own lack of attention to detail.